If you watch or listen to these cleancasts on a regular basis, chances are you are a leader in your organization. Chances are also very good that someone in your company or even in your family will get some devastating news that will ruin their budget. Maybe they get the word that cancer has set in. Maybe it's some other dreaded disease that they need to fight. And you know, other people around you want to help as well. Other people in your organization want to help. And if so, we want to invite you to explore a new way to hold a fundraiser, namely Pink Zebra, the leader in providing great fragrances for homes and offices. By having Pink Zebra as your next fundraising project, you will get 40% of the sales made to help fund your project. The dollars really do add up very quickly. Sound interesting? If so, call Barbara at 573-434-1822 and she can discuss it with you, the opportunity, or she can mail you information on how you can have Pink Zebra fragrances help you raise money for the next fundraising project. Or you can go to www.pinkzebrahome.com/the Zebra Group for more information on this exciting opportunity. Pink Zebra, the name to remember for your next fundraising project. Welcome to our Cleancast. Thanks for joining us today. I've entitled this one, The Pluses and Minuses of Safety. And if you're watching this, you're probably saying, oh boy, now we got to hear the safety deal again. Well, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. My experience with BSCs as it relates to safety is really, they come into three categories. Number one, here's the company that just gives lip service to it. Yeah, we got to be safe. Yeah, we got to be safe. Hey guys, be safe. You know, and that's about it. Then there's the BSC that offers a kind of a session every time they have a group meeting. You know, if they ever bring in their area managers or area supervisors or project supervisors, and yeah, we'll spend an hour talking safety or 30 minutes talking safety, and then they bring in a film or they bring in a DVD or they bring in, you know, the insurance agent that says, be safe. And that's good. That's a start. Then there's the BSC that really understand how it affects the workforce and how it affects their bottom line. And it's a two-pronged thing here. We're not only talking about what's on the bottom line. We're talking about morale. We're talking about keeping people safe. So let me ask you, which of these three companies are you? I'll be honest. Which one are you? Lip service, a safety session once in a while, or a company that really is, you know, pounces on the opportunity to have safety? You see, the effects of poor safety is when you have a worker off work. You know, they've been injured, and all of a sudden they have to be off work, and now you have to find a fill-in for them, don't you? And many times that results in, okay, somebody's got to work extra hours. They didn't really count on those. They like the money, but they don't do the job the way that other person did. And here's something we don't think about a lot. Many of us employ part-time employees. Well, if they're injured severely enough, that means they're also off their full-time job. Now you've taken away two sources of income. I don't mean you. The injury, the lack of safety has taken away two sources of income. And then it affects that other job too. You've affected a whole group of people by that person being off. Now, let's talk a little bit about some good safety habits, good safety efforts. Let me ask you first off, do you know your workers' comp factor, modification factor? We talked in an earlier Cleancast, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. We talked about the fact, you know, knowing your mod factor, knowing your insurance costs. Well, here we're going to talk some more about it, because your modification factor, for those that don't know, is, you know, normally you'll pay a premium. That's 100%, or that's 1.00. If you've had a really good record of no injuries and blah, 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 you can actually get that mod factor down to somewhere around 0.55, which means you would pay 55% of the annual premium. That would normally be the case if you weren't a safe company. Now let's say you're on the other side and you're really an unsafe company. You could go up to 1.99%. And then they probably throw you in a state pool and then you're really in trouble. Been there, done that. But I just put an example. Let's say you have $1 million payroll. And let's say your workers' comp rate is 3%. Well, if you pay normal workers' comp at standard premium, that rate you would pay premiums of $30,000 on that $1 million worth of payroll. If you had a really good safety record and you hadn't had any accidents and so forth, you could probably get that down to 0.55. And that means you would pay about $16,500 in premium. $16,500 versus $30,000. Makes it worth it. Now let's look at it another way, and you say you've been this lip service company up here, number one. And you really haven't paid much attention, and your mod factor now is all of a sudden 1.99, or almost 2%, almost double. That would mean you'd pay $59,700 in premium. Ouch. That's a $43,200 difference. $43,200. Then you also run the risk of being put in a state pool. And once you're in that state workers' comp pool, all rates are off the deal. You really got high rates then, and it's hard to get out of that state pool. So that's really important to stay on top of those numbers, and it's really important that you have some kind of a safety program in your company. Now, so let me say that you check your rate, see if your mod factor is over 1. If so, you're throwing the money away every day. I can give you an example of a contractor that I'm well aware of that had been cleaning a large manufacturing facility. Had it for like 9 years, 8-9 years. And I think it was 9 years because every 3 years it went out for proposals. One of the stipulations, because this was a highly sensitive, safety-sensitive manufacturing plant, one of the requirements was that your modification factor on workers' comp had to be 1% or less, or 1.00, excuse me, or less. In other words, you had to be paying standard rates or less. Or you couldn't even put in a proposal. Well, this company that I'm familiar with, that had it for all this time, their modification factor went to 1.01. And they were not allowed to put in a proposal, even though they were the incumbent. 1.01. They did what they could. They did the best they could to try and get an exception. And the manufacturing company said, rules are rules. Now, I've used this example in some of my workshops that I do, and I've had people throw up at me, well, they probably were looking for a way to get rid of that company. And that could be. I don't think so, because I know the company. I don't think that was the case, because I think they both had a good working relationship. But if that was the case, that was the case. But my point is this. By allowing it to go over 1, you gave them another reason to leave. Now, even if their reason to leave was, I don't like you anymore, now they could say your insurance mod factor is 101, we can't have you. And so you just made it real easy for the customer. If it was 0.9, 1.0 or 0.99, then they have to come up with, if they don't want you anymore, they got to come up with more than insurance to get rid of you. So, anyway, so the point is that a good safety program not only keeps your work, it keeps your work safe, keeps your workforce safe, keeps them working so they don't have to be laid up by being off the job. And think about it from the other job too. If they're working for you part-time, if they are injured severely, they're going to be off their full-time job too. Now they've lost 2 incomes. So think about it. Thousands of dollars. Think of the hundreds of dollars, maybe thousands of dollars. Those of you that are watching this and saying, well, my payroll was only $500,000. Okay, just cut those numbers in half. You'd have saved $21,600 or something like that. If you had $500,000 and your workers' comp was way at one end or the other, so it's 20. Could you use 22,000? I could, you know. So there really is dollars. There really is dollars in having an organized, systematic safety program in your company. I challenge you to find out your mod factor and negotiate your insurance, but more importantly for this particular CleanCast, get a safety program going that works and that can help you. Because when that insurance adjuster, or not when the adjuster, but the insurance company comes in, they want to see your records. They want to see what insurance, what kind of safety program have you had? What kind of safety meetings have you had? What were the results? If you have nothing, you're number one. You're in the lip service. Done. Let's go for it. Let's make our company safe. Thanks for watching us today. We appreciate it.